Hey, welcome back to Brian for Liberty. I know. 2 days in a row. You guys can't believe how lucky you are to have me here twice. But I've got three important articles. Excuse me. I've got three articles today that I have to discuss. And we have to start thinking about why objective truth is important, how you're being manipulated in the media constantly, and where are we going as a nation when it comes to are we heading for a race war? I don't know. But stick around and see what you think. We're going to start with this. And this is a headline, but I like to take headlines that are clearly and obviously misleading, designed to create an emotional response, hoping that you don't read the entire bill, or that the emotional response that's generated by the headline, and this part's important, is so strong that you lose your ability to rationally read the actual article. Let's take a look. House Republicans. Let me bring this thing up here first of all. Let's see. Split. Okay, so House Republicans passed bill giving some parents the authority to beat down other parents' kids. I'm going to read that again for you just in case you missed it. House Republicans passed bill giving some parents the authority to beat down other people's kids. I don't even understand how we got to a place where a person who calls themselves a journalist feels okay writing that down and putting that out and putting their name on it. John Storer, whoever the hell that is, should be ashamed of himself. But let's take a quick look. According to Roll Call, the measure would affirm a parent's right to address the local school board and would require education officials to provide parents with lists of books and other curriculum materials, online budgetary information, and alerts about incidents of violence at their children's school. Perish the thought that schools are going to be required to let parents speak at school board meetings and provide them information regarding what their kids are being taught and how their money is being spent. That's beating down other people's kids. Think about that for I don't care what side. This is where I come from every time. Please, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. That's insanity. And you know what kills me about this is that the left, and when I say the left, if you are politically identify yourself with the left in this country, with like left-leaning politics in this country, when I say the left, I'm talking about guys like this, the voice of the left, okay? Not the actual left. I still like to believe that most Democrats are reasonable people who would read this and say, look, we're passing a bill that addresses these things to make sure parents can speak to school boards, that they have access to what their kids are being taught and exposed to in the classroom, and that they know how their money's being spent. And every Democrat would go, yeah, that's reasonable. This isn't crazy. When you're trying to sell this as hate and this as an attack, then real attacks are going to get ignored. The bill is dead. The Senate, controlled by the Democrats, won't take it up. That doesn't matter to the House Republicans. They've been working hard, make-believing into a malformed but oh so bona fide boogeyman, critical race theory, wokeness, groomers. It has so many names. Some kind of big baddie is out there, and it's going to get your kids. So they had to show something for all that effort. The point, of course, is not protecting children. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy did not name the legislature the Children's Bill of Rights Act. No, it's the Parents' Bill of Rights Act, and its purpose is giving some parents the authority to beat down other parents' kids if they happen to identify as not heterosexual. I want you to point to something in the first paragraph of this article and tell me how that relates to beating down kids who are not heterosexual. I know where you're going to go. Well, we can't teach this, we can't teach that. That's not beating down other people's kids. We can talk about the validity of gender ideology in classroom curriculum. We can talk about the legitimacy of that. We can talk about having to expose kids to ideas about non-heterosexual relationships and normalizing that in the eyes of children, right? As opposed to children growing up absent that exposure and then maybe developing biases towards it later, right? It's about normalization, and it's hard for kids to be different. So if you're a Republican and you're listening to this, bear in mind they're making a reasonable argument when they talk about putting a book in the classroom that just happens to have a daddy and a daddy with some kids and a mommy with some kids, or, two kids dating who happen to be of the same sex. They're making some valid points here. I, for one, don't think it's that it's necessary, but you can't laugh at it and say it's not a valid point. You can't call everybody who thinks on that side groomers and, some of the other phrases that have been bandied about. But you got to stand up to this nonsense and say, look, it's not unreasonable for people to have the right to know what their kids are being taught, for Pete's sake. This is how we get to a place where we can't have conversations with each other. And what really gets me about this, one of the things that really sets me off is it's very popular right now for left-leaning people with a voice on the left to say that the right is giving rise to extremism. But headlines like this can also create extremism on the other side. If you are afraid that your opposition is literally coming for your children, this article makes it like the other side, like the Republicans, the right, is coming for your children if you happen to be on the left. So all of this increasing hyperbole in our rhetoric, in the conversations we're having, that's what's creating extremism. And so this article really just set me off today, because when I see headlines like this, it's obviously manipulative. It doesn't do anything to further the conversation, and it's designed to do what it did. It evoked emotional response from me. I shared it. I'm sharing it on this stupid social media thing, which makes me go angry and go, should I even be on social media? Because maybe I'm just part of the problem. But hopefully calling it out and pointing it out and showing you how obvious it is, maybe that helps somebody go, you know what, this maybe that helps some people have a conversation and stop promulgating these ideas that the other side is like this evil enemy that's coming for our children. And that applies to both sides watching this. Okay. So I'm going to go. So this is so on the other side of this. So here we go. First grade teacher says her school district bans students from performing Miley Cyrus' Rainbow Land. So I'm like, all right, this song must be about homosexuality. And I read the lyrics twice, and I couldn't see anything in this but a positive message. I don't know why it's banned. So this is the kind of stupid overreaction that you get when you are pushing certain ideologies into the classroom, right? You're going to get pushback, and you're saying parents can't see the curriculum and parents can't speak at school board meetings, and we're going to label these people domestic terrorists, and we're going to do all these things, and we're going to elevate on this side. Then you're going to get the stupid knee-jerk reactions from the right that bans a song that's completely harmless. It's a positive message. There's nothing inappropriate in there for kids in first grade, and we're going to ban it. Why? I don't know, because it says rainbow in it, and now we're super paranoid. So you're ginning up this fear on one side, and you're getting this other reaction from the other side, and it's just pushing us apart, and it's insane, and I'm tired of it, and that's why I'm talking about it. And I shouldn't talk about it if I'm that tired of it, but I am. So I read the lyrics. If you disagree with me that this song is appropriate, I challenge you to go read the lyrics, come back into the comment section, and tell me specifically what you oppose in the lyrics of this song, because to me, it's a perfectly innocent song that's a positive message for first graders. It seems really stupid to ban it. And last but not least is Robin DiAngelo. I got to bring this on. I got to bring this on the screen. This is why objective truth is important, folks. Robin DiAngelo advises people of color to get away from white people. Do you remember when, Scott Larson told white people to get away from black people? And he's essentially canceled now because, I think that's his name. Anyway, the Dilbert guy. And it's he's canceled now because that's a horribly racist thing to say. Well, then this is also horribly racist. But what gets me about this article is Robin DiAngelo, the author of best-selling anti-racist book, White Fragility, insisted that racial minorities should separate themselves from white Americans. Her book's racist as hell. Her book is racist as hell. You don't get to make negative, generalized statements based solely on a person's race and then label the book as anti-racist. She's a racist. The book is racist. That sentence, that title is racist. She's a racist. Yes, white people can be racist. Black people can be racist. Chinese people can be racist. She's a racist. You understand? This is what objective truth. This is why we can't go around and just change words in the dictionary and pretend that language doesn't matter and pretend that words doesn't matter. There's a large portion of our society who are taking their marching orders, who are establishing their belief system built on a book of racism. Like, I can't wrap my mind around the concept that we're getting back to this point where both sides are starting to call for segregation all over again. Like, why are we going backwards? It's insane to me that anybody could call, it's the idea that this is an anti-racist book blows my mind. It blows my mind. And when I talk about objective truth, things mattering, white fragility is racist. The person who wrote it is racist. The title of this article is racist. And that's the truth. That's the reality. That is objective reality. I have a negative opinion. I'm going to Faust upon Faust? I don't know if that's the right word. I'm going to place upon an entire group of people based solely on their race this negative thing. That's racist. Period. And so we need to be able to call out racists no matter what color they are. She happens to be white, but the fact of the matter is we have to be able to call out racists whether they're white or black or however their racism happens to present itself. These people need to be called out. I don't care what side they're on. I don't care if they're anti-white racists. They're still racist and they still need to be called out. We have to be able to do that in society. We have to be able to speak objective truths. We have to be able to have these conversations for real. And we have to be able to ignore people who are putting out nonsense like this and pretending that it's somehow intellectual or it's moving the conversation forward. This is a white woman advocating for segregation. This is a white woman advocating for segregation. It's nothing else. Let me bring this back on. And show it to you one more time. I can't get passionate enough about this. Robin DiAngelo advises people of color to get away from white people. This is a white person calling for segregation. And she's the author of the best-selling anti-racist book, White Fragility. A white person calling for segregation is the best-selling author of a, quote, anti-racist book. We better start recognizing what the truth is and how we're being lied to, or these people, these activists, these academics are going to tear this nation apart. And I'm going to tell you something that you all need to hear. There is not another place in this world where you would rather be an ethnic minority, a racial minority, a homosexual, a transvestite, a transgendered person. There's not another place. This is it. This is as good as you could possibly get. You don't want to go anywhere else. You don't want to let these people, you want to tear down Western civilization. You want to tear down the United States of America. There isn't a better place for you to be or for you to go. Anyway, I just wanted to yell and scream into my microphone for a few minutes, apparently. This has been Brian for Liberty. I hope you like the content. Share it. Subscribe to it. Turn on those notifications because who knows, maybe I'm going to start flying off the handle more often. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you guys next time.